Here we are in an island that I own in the metaverse, and I'm going to use this location to show you a little bit about what it means to own things in the metaverse. Now, here, where we are is in Second Life. That's a province of the metaverse. It's a virtual world, been around for quite some time. And you see right now it's pretty dark and dim. Fortunately, I own this island, so I can control what time of day it is. And so I clicked on a button, and I am setting it, looking at environment, and now I want to set it to midday. And sure enough, it's a lot brighter now. And well, let's see. By the way, I've turned on my microphone so you can see me speaking. You can see my hands moving, and you can see little green waves above my head, so you can tell when I'm talking. This is a feature of Second Life. Not all grids or places in the metaverse have it. Now, first, I just claimed that I own this place, so let me show you how I know I own this. Obviously, I do. And I click on the ground, and I click on the little item that says About Land, and I get a panel coming up, and it comes up and says, this is identifies this as belonging to the owner. The owner of the group is a group, the Communication Arts, and let's see. If I view the profile, I can look in there for the roles, and of course, since I'm the owner, I am listed as the owner, identified as Arts Appreciator, which is the flag you will see above me for the present, and I can use other flags. But that, and so this is not an NFT, but simply very good evidence of ownership accorded to me by Linden Lab, the owner of the Second Life, and basically it certifies that I own this area, this island, as a matter of fact, and we'll back out in a moment and look at the island. So now that you've seen that, I'm going to back out and clear the screen a bit so you can see the whole thing. And now I can get a higher view, and now you see what it looks like now. Let me check and make sure that my voice is still coming through. Yes, it's still coming through. So now you see this is what the island looks like, and some parts of it are not showing because of a setting that I have in my viewer. But if I look over to the other parts of it, the more distant parts, I will see. I see what is there, and now coming back to me, what I really want to talk to you about is the inventory. And if you look at the little arrow that I have, you can see that I'm looking around, and down at the bottom, one of the items I have is called the inventory. And this shows everything that I own actually everything that this particular avatar owns in the Second Life. So, and there are various kinds of items. You'll notice. I won't go into the details of all of them at this point, but there are, for example, objects. Those are the things you will most easily recognize. And actually, I prepared an object. Picked an object that I can actually res. Now, I own this object, and I will res it for you. Now, res is the term we use for bring out of inventory and make it appear, and there it does. That's a water tower. It's a minimized water tower. It's not there is actually another version of it that's much larger. And let's see, what does it mean that I own this object? Well, let's see, I will click on it, and then I will edit it. Notice where my arrow is going, edit. And you see that as soon as I edit, two things happen. I'm going to minimize the inventory, and two things happen. One is that all the colors show, the green and blue and yellow show, indicating that it is mine, that I have selected it. And furthermore, I see some arrows on it, which I can use to move it anywhere I want. And I could also make it larger. Notice also that there's a button, that there's a window that shows up. And this particular one shows that the object belongs to me. It lists me as the owner. And notice this is, again, not an NFT. It is actually a proprietary certificate, but it is equivalent to a certificate of ownership in an NFT. And notice something else. This panel is a certificate of ownership. It is just like an NFT, and it is not really in the object. It is associated with the objects in the database, so that I can bring it up in the database and show the characteristics of it. Actually, I can do various things with the object because I own it. Well, let's see. I will probably not have. Here I can move it, and here I can assign various features to it, but it doesn't seem to have any features, so I won't go into that. It has some textures. Texture is the term we use for an image, actually, which we can upload as a JPEG, as an image file, and we can then put it on objects. We do that. We call it a texture mainly because it gives the appearance of a texture on an object. It's actually just an image. So now let's look at further on my inventory, and you can see. Let's see, I think I had a list. Yes, you can see that I have 13,000 items in my inventory, and a whole bunch of them are in folders, in categories, so I can bring any of these out. Then there are various kinds of things besides objects. In particular, there are items that you would want to know about if you're going to do anything in a virtual world. There are scripts. Those are the things that make the object do things, give it activity, and I won't go into the details at this point. There are sounds, and that would be would be used by a script to play a sound on such as on a click or every so often, or at random times. I've used those in various ways for that. And then you see there's textures, and I'll just show you a little bit about the textures that I have. And you can see I have lots of textures, some of which are actually images, and some are the images in the sense that you would display them as images. They look like pictures. And then some of them for example, look like bricks. So that gives you a beginning idea of how you can have things and do things with objects and land in a virtual world. If you close the image, the inventory now, so we can look at this entire area belongs to me, but I assign it out to various groups. For example, in this group here, I guess I'll show you how to fly. So I fly, and I can fly over here to the community virtual library. Community virtual library, and well, let's see. I'll stop flying, and that stops the sound. And there is music here. I can turn the music off, and I will. There's a button up here in the upper right. You see the button that says, well, actually, it's a couple of vertical lines, and you will probably recognize that as something that controls the player. And I see that I also have some notifications. But, well, yeah, the community virtual radio, so that was telling me what music was playing. And notice that we have numerous